recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May 2022 Roger Williams Park Community Meeting. We're going to wait a few minutes for our friends and neighbors to join the meeting. We'll get started in about 3 minutes after with some welcoming remarks from me, and then I'll hand it off to our friends from the Parks Department and Police Department. All right, we have a few people that have joined us, and I'm sure we'll get a few more, but in the interest of keeping things moving, I'm going to suggest we go ahead and start tonight's community meeting for May 2022 regarding Roger Williams Park and all the great ideas and things that are happening around public safety in the park this summer and beyond. So welcome everybody. My name is Kevin Essington, the director of the Roger Williams Park Conservancy. Bienvenidos a la reunión de comunidad el mayo de 2002 sobre seguridad en el parque. Y para traducción, haga clic Translate debajo, por favor. So I will be managing the meeting today. I've got a little bit of an overview here. We're going to hear some investments coming up in the park from Wendy Nielsen, Superintendent of Providence Parks. Thanks, Wendy, for being with us tonight. Wendy and Steve will talk about changes and investments to Mounted Command, which is a beloved part of the park and soon to be an even better cared for place than it already is. And then Sergeant Corbell, Lieutenant Carlos Sical, and Wendy will talk about plans for police response and other sort of public safety measures in the park for this summer. And we'll open it up for Q&A in the second half of the meeting. I'll moderate, ask everybody, of course, keep things respectful, and I will try to keep people on mute if they are not on mute, just so that we can maintain better audio quality. If you have any questions as we go, please put them in the chat. If you're able to use the hand raise function on Zoom, please do that. But for many people, just indicating in chat that you have a question or writing your question there is often a simple way to communicate with me and everybody else. And I'll keep an eye on that as we go. So with that, Wendy, I'd like to hand the microphone over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And thanks again for being with us, Wendy, and we'd love to hear about what's happening with investments in the park.
Can you allow me to share my screen, Kevin?
Of course, yes, thank you. Hold on a moment. Should work now.
Everyone got that? Everyone see? I think, Steve, I put you on here first. So if you want to start by talking about the mounted command, that'd be great. I'll just give an overview that we are in a second round of significant improvements in the park. A lot of these are focused on infrastructure, but also public art and making areas of the park more accessible and more inviting, and really I think the theme of these improvements that we're working with the Conservancy and a number of other folks on is really to create that vision that Cleveland had of the park and it served for many years, that there's something sort of behind every vista and really connecting it and making it just available for passive and active recreation and events and all of those wonderful things that happen here, and for people just to really discover some really special things about the park as they visit. So Sergeant Corville, would you like to talk? I have my first slide up here is about some of the changes to the mounted command that we're working with you on. If you and the Department of Public Property as well, if you wanted to walk us through that.
Yes, thank you for that, Wendy. So I agree with you regarding Cleveland's vision as the park being sort of a series of vignettes, and mounted command has always enjoyed that prominent location on a hillside. And over the years, there hasn't been a lot of attention to our aesthetic appearance and certainly to the paddocks of utmost importance to us. They've failed. So with coordination through parks and city properties, we've been able to secure some SIP funding in the neighborhood of $600,000 that will enable us to really change the landscape. So what we're looking at now in front of us is a renewed paddock kind of arrangement, where those 4 square blocks in the center of that drawing are actually sand paddocks that have fantastic drainage. We're able to use them year round, which enables our horses to get more outside time when they need it. It contributes to their health. And most importantly to Wendy and I certainly is the idea of having this beautiful wrought iron fence. It's a welded wire style fence that will replace the chain link, which is rusted and currently dominates the view on that property. So one of the things we're really proud is that we were able to get this accomplished and hopefully breaking ground as of June 1st. So we've done a ton of work with Wood Environmental on design. Parks Department's architects and engineers have signed off. I would be remiss if I did not thank Brian Burns. He has been an ally, a friend. He's not here, so I can't give him a hard time about sports, but I will tell him, this group that he's helped spearhead this project alongside myself and Wendy. So the last thing I think is going to be great is that it's a short time period for construction. We're hoping to get this settled by October, and you'll see meadow grasses and plantings all on the side. So it'll really improve the appearance of the park. That's the aesthetic part. As far as public safety, the announcement that we had last week is that our canine officers are working out of our facility. We have 3, 1 per shift. That's days, the evening shift from 3 to 11 and nights from 11 to 7. So they're coming and going. They're passing through the park more frequently, which does enhance safety and security within Roger Williams Park. So that's basically my overview. Take any questions.
Thank you. So I'm going to walk you through some of the, walk you through some of the other things that are happening in the park that are coming up really quickly and soon. So I'm sorry, I'm having a mouse issue here. Oh, here we go. So the first is that you may have seen something at the Betsy Williams Cottage, the sycamore tree. that is actually a brace on the tree that looks like this, that our team worked on, our Botanical Center and our Roger Williams Park team and some of our other folks. And there are 2 braces on the Betsy Williams sycamore right now. And they're actually harvested from black locust or robinia wood that is an invasive tree that actually grows in Roger Williams Park. And so this was hand crafted to be a brace for this tree. And in Japan, notable trees and older trees of this significance are braced and supported. Here in America, we tend to just cut off limbs. So it's a really nice story about aging and how we can take care of things and add to the sustainability of the park as well. So I encourage you to check that out. We're actually, it wasn't intended this way, but it's really become a work of art. And Mr. Fujimoto brought his skills from Japan and really helped our team to understand how to make these and how to build things with their hands. It was really quite lovely. So there's that. Next, coming in July, we have Monkey Island coming, which is a nod to the original Monkey Island in the park, which is actually would have been located where the zoo on the zoo property. The monkeys that were there were sooty mangabees, and they are going to be a lit installation powered by solar. And they will be a nod to the monkeys that used to be there, these sooty mangabees. This is a rendering of sort of what the materials and a close-up of what the face might look like. And they all have articulated limbs, so they can be posable and what have you for different interpretations. I believe there'll be 9 monkeys, including a baby or 2. So that's coming and really, really exciting. Keeping with the animal theme, this is the 150th anniversary of Roger Williams Park and zoo, and the entire park used to be the zoo. It was a menagerie, and there were animal exhibits all throughout the zoo, throughout the park. One of the other things that we had were instead of lawnmowers and a crew of 9 people, which is what we have now who care for the lawns, we used to have 300 sheep and a shepherd. And so we're creating a nod to that. Again, one of these vignettes, which is going to be Sheep Hill, that's going to be located on FC Green Boulevard, and is going to be an installation. They will not be black. They will be, I believe they will be a lighter color on that. And so this is their location is around here. And this is kind of a close-up of that view. The next one that we have that is underway right now is the back of the Botanical Center is being transformed into a, we're calling it the Rose Path, and it's going to be meadow all around. This is another view of that. There are going to be some stormwater features, but there's also going to be a pergola over here so people can stop and take pictures and take a respite from the shade. There's going to be over to the right here, it's not shown in this picture, but a play area for the goats made again from repurposed wood that we have. So that'll be quite lovely when that's done. One of my favorite projects, and I think Kevin's too, is, and these are all projects we're working on with the Conservancy as well, is our bear ground. And at one point, the area where Maple and Pine merge to the right used to be, we call it the bear pit, because they used to have black bears there when the entire park was the menagerie again. We didn't think the bears had such a good life back then, so we're going to try to honor their spirit and make this a much more lovely place and a nod to their history as well, and give them a better forever home to if their spirits so to choose to come back in the park. So it's going to feature some picnic tables, a feature to get over some stormwater management areas. It's going to have an ADA accessible walkway. We're going to be, again, building some features with the black locust wood that we have here in the park. Our forestry division will do that. And then this one is going to live there. And he's going to be about 14, or they are going to be about 14 feet tall. This is a front view, and there are all different ways that you can play and interact with this one. So it's about creating imaginative play, helping kids to figure out how to interact with this rather than just say, go up and down the slide. There will be opportunities for them to stand up in the head and get some real height and a real opportunity to see things. Here's just a sort of a X-ray vision of what things might look like inside. So that project is coming, and they are coming from Canada. So barring any unforeseen circumstances, they should be here and installed in late September, early October. The next thing that's coming up is that we just received a $400,000 grant from the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management to build a boardwalk and fishing pier in Roger Williams Park. And if I said that bear was my favorite project, I mean, this is also my favorite project, because what this does is it introduces park users who come to the temple to other areas of the park, and that the journey is part of the experience as well. And what that's going to do is there's a stormwater feature here that is getting trodden on by runners and folks. It's going to take a path and it's going to extend it out over the water and then back onto land again. And there will be an ADA accessible fishing pier there, so that the many folks who come and enjoy fishing, particularly some of our seniors and folks with mobility challenges, to have an accessible place to fish in Providence. So we're really thrilled with that. And this is just some renderings of what that might look like. This is the path when it's on land, going out over the water. Again, we're using railings that enhance the vista instead of obstructing it. And just again, a nod to the history of the park. It used to be that on any given day, you'd have 200 boats out on the lakes in the park. And people would, it'd almost be like a competition. People would fill it with silk pillows and picnics and just spend the entire day doing that. So this is really a nod to that history of the park, and when people used to use the walkways around the park as promenades to be closer to the water. Another view with a sort of sitting area, gathering, meet you at the boardwalk. It's an extended view. That these pilings will not be white. That just is shown to show you what they are. Lighting as well. Nighttime in summer is the best time to go for a run. And another view. So that is that's a pretty major project that we're super excited about. All of you may have seen the gateway going up. This is a picture from today. This span right here is going to have over 36 different metal fins on it that are representative of all of the businesses along Broad Street, or many of them, what their front doors look like, as seen here in this rendering. And we expect this project has been slightly delayed due to supply chain issues, but we're hoping to open up in August or September. And that is all I have on that. Some other key things that are going on is the Boathouse Cafe will hopefully be opening early this summer as well, which will be an opportunity for neighbors to come and enjoy a beer or wine or a snack and sit by the water and listen to some music or rent a swan boat. Tennis has, I know Nest was here last week. He's going to be breaking the ground on the pickleball court in early June. The casinos had all new floors refinished. We completed 2 tree pits with our friends at Groundwork and the Southern New England Estuary Program. That's again a super cool thing that adds to the already 45 different stormwater features we have in the park. We've received funding for the treatment train to treat the water as it comes into the park. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but we've had a gentleman going around painting every single surface that we have that is black in the park, repainting everything. So every railing and what have you will be done. The Elmwood fence is still underway. We have 2 more major panels to get out there. And then we will do a fresh coat of paint on that one as well. So I think that's most of the updates. Yeah, so I'm all done, Kevin. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Wendy. I will save questions till the end and keep things moving. So Carlos and Steve, you guys want to talk about anything that you're thinking about when it comes to the summertime and the busy season in the park? Love to hear from you. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Just before I start, I mean that Wendy's presentation was incredible. That is a lot of exciting things coming for the park. I'm excited. As far as police response and things that a lot of things that we've already implemented in the park for this summer. A couple of them include we have added 2 mounted officers for Friday on the detail. They're part of the Broad Street detail, but we will concentrate them in the park area, primarily for the food truck Fridays. We really want to capitalize on police presence, as well as it's a really a public relations activity. Everybody loves the horses and they love seeing them out there. We hope to also provide a good amount of deterrence for any property crimes that might be with the possibility of them occurring during the food truck Fridays. We also have implemented a hotline, a tip line, anonymous tip line for the ATVs and the dirt bikes, which is always a concern for us. We do have a dedicated task force now for it. On any given Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we have anywhere from 10 to 15 extra police officers in the south side of Providence, which encompasses Roger Williams Park. So we have an added boost of officers during the busiest times of the week and the weekend. And hopefully, my intention is to keep that going for the entire summer. We have also began proactively addressing and going out and looking for loud music, which is always a big concern. We do have a lot of complaints that come from the outlining areas of the park. And a lot of the complaints are that loud music comes from the park. So we have the district cars that I have that work the area are already aware, and they're on the lookout for that. We have purchased several window tint meters, as well as decibel and noise meters. And we plan on using them. We've already began to issue summonses regarding loud music and window tint, concentrating in the District 3 area and Roger Williams Park area. And hopefully that has a positive effect. The officers have also been briefed on the emergency response training that we had not too long ago. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, that we had at the park. And I made sure that the officers that work in that area are briefed and understand the operating procedures that are in place as far as any emergency occurring within the zoo. And I think that's it. Unless Sergeant Corvell would like to add anything.
Lou, Lieutenant, you hit all the spots. Certainly, and I know Lieutenant Cal is as well, speaking on behalf of the department. We have a renewed commitment towards safety and security in the lower Broad Street area, and really we're just happy to be able to help.
Wonderful. Thanks to you both for all you do for Citizens of Providence, and especially for your work here at Jones Park, supporting Wendy and the Parks Department team, who also have their eyes and ears on the ground all the time. I guess I have a simple question for you guys. If somebody sees something, in case they don't know, can you just let people know who they should call or contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, any issue relating to a police response, my suggestion is always, and actually my request is to always call our dispatcher, which is the phone number is 272-1111. And that's anything from a crime in progress to loud music, ATVs or dirt bikes. You can always call that number, and there will be a record. And that's what's very important for us is especially me, because I look at the weekly statistics, and that basically guides me as far as where problem areas are, where our police response should be concentrating on. So I'd love to look at those statistics. And the way of doing that is by calling our dispatcher and filing a complaint. I know that there are also, there's the 311, the PVD 311, which a lot of people use. And it is a good tool that is available. However, things such as crimes in progress, loud music, anything that would require a police response immediately, it's way faster to call the 272-1111 number. That will get you an immediate response, and it logs a record of the call, the location, what it's about, and it's like I said, it's quick response. So absolutely call that number 272-1111. 911 is also an emergency number that is easier to remember, especially in times of a critical incident. Sometimes 911 is easier to remember, and that number will also get you transferred over to our dispatchers.
Thanks, Lieutenant. So what you're saying is, in addition to getting that into the system for while the event is happening, it helps you plan for the future with your limited resources.
Yes, absolutely.
Terrific. Thanks to you both. We've got a small group, so if you guys have questions, this would be a good time to hand it over to you guys. If you can unmute, feel free to speak up. We can have an informal conversation back and forth on any of your questions or suggestions or concerns about the park and public safety in it.
I just had a question about, I was driving and it kind of caught up a little bit. Where's the boardwalk going to be?
Which one?
The boardwalk, I think.
Oh, yeah, from the Temple to Music, there's a road, an access road on the south of that. And I'll just go back to then I'll have to share my screen again. From that access road, there's
so that right behind the temple?
no, not behind the temple. It's if you're coming south from the temple, you're gonna pass the temple on your left. And there's an access road there that takes you to the temple. So maybe about 50 feet from that, we'll start the path so that part of it will go on the existing land, but then it will jut out and it will go over the water, and then it will come back just before the boat ramp and hit the land again there.
Wow, that's so nice. I can't wait for that. The rendering looks great. Oh my God, it's gonna look so good.
Yeah, it will. And I think it'll really serve to connect people to other areas of the park. Like a lot of people will go to the temple and they'll stop. They don't necessarily understand or experience the rest of the park. And so this will say, continue on your journey. Here's a nice place to stop, or maybe the next time you come, you'll want to go a little further. So yeah, I agree, Jose.
Love it, love it.
And fishing there's this huge legacy of fishing. There's the bass fishermen tournaments. I would say again, we are complete catch and release. There's no do not eat the fish you catch in Roger Williams Park, but it's been a sport here for many, many years. And we do a great program called Vamos a Pescar, which is to go fishing with our Hispanic Access Program through U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And we also work with the police department on a program called Cops and Bobbers, where we teach kids how to really enjoy, I don't know if you teach, but we help kids experience fishing and hopefully enjoy it. And it's a pretty incredible pastime for a lot of folks.
Hi, I'm Amanda Richmond. My camera's not working, but I just wanted to speak up. And I own a home on the park, and Wendy, I've spoken with you about noise issues, especially the music, and I really appreciate your planning and your support and the police's commitment, because it's been a real quality of life issue, and we love it here. So I really appreciate your attention.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your patience, Amanda. It's I can't say enough about the 272-1111 number. We do this in other parks as well, where we have issues, and it really helps the police to target and plan and be proactive, knowing when problem times might arise or what have you.
Yeah, we have noticed too. I know there's such limited resources, but we've noticed a really quick response the couple of times this year that this has happened.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Kristen, do you have a question or comment?
So I'm not turning my camera on because I have COVID and I'm not a sight to look at right now, but I know. I managed to dodge it for 2 and change years, and here we are. But I just want to say thank you to the police officers for doing what you do in the park. And my question would be around in the neighborhoods around the park. We have a couple of neighbors who, blare the music, blast the music at all hours. And could you just sort of give me an outline of what the noise ordinances are for the city, so we would maybe know? I was talking to another neighbor last night, and she was saying this is ridiculous. There are other people 5 streets down in Edgewood who don't have to deal with this, but she was saying, just because it's Providence, people think it's okay. So she was saying she wanted to maybe put a petition together or something to address it, but it would be helpful because it's sort of hard to know. I've been trying to find online what sort of the ordinances would be.
Sure, that's an excellent question. Now, there is an ordinance that differentiates between residential and commercial areas, as well as nighttime and daytime. So the difference between the nighttime and daytime and residential and commercial is not much. I think it's about 15 decibels. And I want to say unfortunately I don't have the ordinance with me. And I'm going to make it a point to carry that with me at all times, because that is it. The noise issue it's a huge problem. It's a huge complaint. But anytime that anyone's music or noise interferes with you enjoying your home or enjoying your day, you can call us. You can call us, and we will respond. And like I said, we have decibel meters out there, but a lot of times the complaints that we get are just so blatant that our officers, usually hear the music from
Blocks away. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And a summons will be issued. So the summonses that we do issue are for loud music, and they're hefty. They're $200, I believe, for the first offense, and then the second offense is $500.
Wow.
And a lot of people they know that these fines are big, and they're very cooperative. Unfortunately, sometimes it turns into a birthday party. It's outside. They'll lower the music, and then as soon as the police leave,
Yes.
they raise.
Yes.
Yes.
We've experienced that before. Yep.
Yes, and that is absolutely a extremely common tactic that they use. I mean, not really a tactic. I mean, it's just, they lower it when the police are there, then,
Sure.
some time goes by and, the music just creeps up. But like I said, you call us, we respond, and, we'll absolutely take care of the problem. But there is a very specific ordinance out there, and it's to a certain decibels. I want to say it's somewhere from like 65 decibels for a residential area during the daytime, and then at nighttime it drops down to 55 or 55.
Yes.
Basically, if you can hear it, if I can hear it in my house 4 doors down with all the windows closed.
Absolutely.
Like-
And that, yeah, and that's what I mean. Don't get wrapped up with the decibels.
Yeah.
If it interferes with you enjoying your day or you trying to sleep, if it's at
Right.
night, and you can hear it 2 or 3, 4 houses down, absolutely. Let us know. We will take care of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to like impinge on anyone having a good time, but at the same time, it's like you can still have a good time and not disturb.
Absolutely.
or,
Yeah, no, definitely.
1 mile radius. So,
Yeah.
we're just trying to see, you don't want to call the police on your neighbors either necessarily, but it's, it's just,
Yeah.
just have a little courtesy and everyone can live happily here. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will also add that the park closes at 9 unless there's a special event permit that we occasionally might do. Food truck Friday, sometimes it's a little hard getting folks out for 9, but the park closes at 9. So nobody should be in here parked with music at 9 o'clock. Certainly folks are welcome to drive through, but I think the goal here really is to disrupt the behavior. So word will get out. I mean, they bring these speakers and sometimes we'll put them on at their cars or what have you, and get comfy and get all set to do whatever. And then the police come by and they start to realize that maybe this is not the best place to be doing this. And so word gets out or somebody gets a fine. And so it's not going to go away overnight, but I think it's this steady pressure on it and knowing when the acute situations are and being able to prepare for that. Is something. And then if you are in the park, you have to have a permit to have amplified sound. So you can't have speakers outside regardless of, whatever volume they're at. So it shouldn't even be a point of contention here within the park because amplified sound of any kind, as soon as you put those speakers on your car, that's amplified sound. So.
thank you.
And if I could just add something real quick, I know I talked about the ATV and the dirt bike hotline that we have. It's an anonymous hotline, but I forgot to give you the number. But the number for that is area code 401, obviously, 680-8288. And that is it's an anonymous hotline, and mainly the information that we love to receive are where they're being stored. I know a lot of times we get a lot of complaints that they're out and about, but for the people who live in the neighborhoods, if you see where these, if you have a neighbor or somebody down the street is storing them in a shed or his garage, that's what that hotline really is really for, is to let us know where they're being stored so we can go and get them.
So Lieutenant, I know last year and the year before, off-road vehicles were a big issue, not just in the park, but across the city, and the mayor and the police department, everybody had a big commitment to trying to reduce that as a public nuisance. Have you guys noticed the difference so far yet this year, or is it too early to tell?
We've been out there. They're out there and we're out there. And like I said, we have a dedicated task force for it now. We have a lieutenant who actually heads it up. So, personally, I think it might be a little too early to tell, but I have seen an improvement. I haven't seen as many out there. I mean, and I really don't want to speak. I don't want to jinx myself because we're early, but hopefully it is trending to in the right direction. Definitely.
Thanks. I know I've heard it described as playing whack-a-mole because
Yes.
they're able to dart around the city in the ways other people can't, and it makes it difficult to deal with. So I appreciate you guys trying to work on that. Amanda, Jose, Chris, any questions or comments?
No, don't have any.
Thank you.
No, thanks. I'm gonna hop off here. Thank you guys so much. This is great.
Thank you, guys. And
Thank you.
I guess we will make this a wrap. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks, Wendy. Thanks, Lieutenant Scott, Sergeant Corville. Thanks for all you guys do. Thanks, Carolyn, for doing our Spanish interpretation tonight. And we'll see you guys around the park soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Take care.
Have a good night.